We're just less than a week away from Christmas, and investors are starting to hear about the potential for the Santa Claus rally, where the stock market tends to perform well the days before Christmas and the days after Christmas. The length of time for the Santa Claus rally is really dependent upon who's doing the analysis. In my 2018 Thackeray's Investor's Guide, I described the Do the Nas with Santa strategy, which has the Nasdaq performing well from December the 15th until January 23rd. And in the time period from 1971 to 2017, the Nasdaq has produced an average gain of 3.9% and has been positive 72% of the time, and more importantly, outperformed the S&P 500 80% of the time. Right now, seasonal tendencies are favorable for the overall market, for the S&P 500 and the Nasdaq as well, but particularly so with the Nasdaq. Where do we stand on a technical basis for the Nasdaq? We can see here that Nasdaq's performed really well in 2016, 2017, a little bit of a pause, rallied again. We're at the bottom of the trading channel here and look to be heading up, which is positive. On a relative basis, compared to the S&P 500, this is this graph here. We can see here we saw at the beginning of the year performance of the Nasdaq compared to the S&P 500, and we've seen this lumpy relative performance since then. And we saw that outperformance, strong outperformance in October, November for the Nasdaq. Now we did see a little bit of a correction in November, late November into the beginning of December. In a previous video, I've talked about the technology sector having this negative period at the beginning of December. Short interim period where it tends to perform poorly, and the technology sector is not in Nasdaq. A lot of people automatically think about technology. Technology sector is one of the major sectors for the Nasdaq, but it has biotech and financials and other sectors as well. But nevertheless, the technology sector has an important influence. We did see that correction take place. We're back in the consolidation box and look to be heading higher. So overall, we've got strong seasonal tendencies at this time of the year, supportive of the Nasdaq. Plus, as well, the technicals are looking good at this time. Now, investors should note that if we did see a correction along the way into the new year, it would be reasonable to expect the Nasdaq to underperform the S&P 500 if there was some sort of correction that did take place. But nevertheless, there still is that strong seasonal tendency plus supportive technicals at this time for the Nasdaq. Thank you very much.